This video will instruct you on how to review and interpret an individual elite athlete monitoring program dashboard. Open Tableau by accessing the website or via the application saved to your phone. Please review the downloading Tableau video for more information on this process. When you open the individual athlete overview dashboard, the overview page will show first. Your private individual dashboard should look something like this. However, each team has slight variations customized to their sport. Please select the date range that you are interested in reviewing. Your wellness and load information across this selected date range will then be displayed. First, let's look at your wellness variables. Blue represents your physical wellness. This is composed of muscle soreness and fatigue. The gray area is your individualized normal range. A recording above the gray area indicates you've reported physical wellness better than normal. Entries below indicate physical wellness worse than normal, and within the gray area represents your normal fluctuation. Green represents emotional wellness, which includes motivation to train, stress, and mood. It can be read the same as physical wellness. The bar graph for each day is the average of your physical and emotional wellness. This is your global wellness score. Like physical and emotional wellness, above the gray is better than normal for you, below the gray is worse than normal, and within the gray again is within your normal range. Sleep hours are represented by the height of the bar. The color shade of the bar is created based on the quality of sleep, with blue indicating higher quality and red lower. Ideally, athletes obtain greater than 8 hours of sleep, which is represented by the faint gray line. Training load is below this load indicator. Training load is defined as the duration of training, how long you spent doing an activity, multiplied by the intensity of the session on a 1 to 10 scale. This section of the dashboard will give you insight on your intensity, duration, training load, and training type. Training load is broken down by training type, shown on the legend to the right. The intensity of the session is displayed by the position and color of the dot. Your self-reported perception of the session is displayed below. You can also track this over time. If you scroll down further, your acute and chronic workloads are displayed. Acute load is the average amount of training per day you have completed in the last 7 days, whereas chronic load is the amount you have completed in the last 28 days. We use a formula called an exponentially weighted moving average to make sure the training you have done recently is weighted greater than the training you did weeks ago. We calculate a ratio of your 7-day or acute training as compared to your chronic or last 28 days of training. This is called your acute to chronic workload ratio. If you complete the same training this week as you do on average over the last month, this ratio is 1.0. If you increase your training load this week by 10%, this ratio will be 1.1, and so on. There's good evidence that says we should try to keep the ratio between 0.8 and 1.3, which is highlighted as the green zone on your dashboard. A peak in workload means you are currently performing more in that week than what you are accustomed to across the last 28 days. If you have low loading, you are currently doing a lot less than what you're used to across the last 28 days. This graphic helps you understand how your wellness and training load scores look on each day of the week. Please use this breakdown to plan your week more efficiently. For example, if you notice you have a hard time sleeping on Saturdays on average, like this person, you may wish to set an earlier bedtime to compensate. Using this dashboard, you can see what an average Monday looks like for you, or an average Tuesday, compared to what you report on Friday or any other day of the week. Training load is the first column, again with a breakdown of your activities. The training intensity of the session for that day sits next to this. Sleep is the following column and displays what you report for that morning. This means that it shows your sleep from the night before. Your wellness is depicted in the final column with a qualitative statement on how you did for that day. Here we see Saturdays are the worst wellness day for this athlete, following having the worst night of sleep on Friday, which, as you know, is reported Saturday morning. For training intensity and sleep, we have shown the average reported for these days, as well as the distribution of each of these days within the reporting period. For example, if you report 4 hours of sleep and then 8 hours of sleep, the average would be 6. However, by seeing the distribution, you can see how your values vary on a given day. Lastly, on the overview page, the individual wellness components, fatigue, mood, motivation to train, stress, and muscle soreness, are represented, standardized to you and that specific metric. Selecting the next tab will bring up the comments and compliance page. Again, select the period of time you want to observe, and you'll be able to see any comments you left in the wellness or load surveys. To monitor your entries, we have supplied you with a day tracker. This will show you whether you completed the survey on that day or not. A green check mark indicates yes, a red cross means you are yet to complete it, and a yellow diamond means you accidentally put in 2 entries for that day. The calendar below helps depict this. 100% equals 1 entry, where a 200% would mean a duplicate entry for that day. And a blank box means no entry. Thanks again for your participation in the Elite Athlete Monitoring Program. It is a pleasure to work with you.